first ban. We have not seen that much this tournament. I think general, yeah, more like a Swain, more like a Tristana, Trundle, like those champions coming up. A lot of ADC bans, Xayah, Kai'Sa. Yeah, I'm expecting more ADC bans, to be honest, since they have none popped up yet.
And I was thinking about this coming into this matchup here, that most teams who play versus XL haven't seemed to scout out what works against them in the draft. I feel like XL have got very comfortable drafts more often than not. But you can punish that because it just comes around banning Galio and Taliyah specifically. Domestically, Krimmel does not get Taliyah ever, and we've seen him play Taliyah in this tournament. And if he is something that you can exploit potentially as a weakness in this mid lane, or put him off of comfort and put him onto something that he's not so happy playing, then that suddenly becomes a really big win condition for you, where you will match off against someone who's not doing what they want to do.
And pick and ban here seems to take a relatively long time, or people are taking the time. Seems to be very conscious what they are doing, deliberate. Let's see exactly what they're banning last year.
The Kha'Zix ban here for the XL side. Honestly, Aesthetics has had some of his most highlight moments on that Kha'Zix.
This is the great non-ban. This is showing dominance.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
They actually did just genuinely not ban something. Did they run out of time, or?
Interesting stuff for Atlantis here. I wanted to go back to the point you were talking about Excel, though, and how their drafts haven't really been punished so much at this tournament. It seems like a lot of people put the praise on the coach, Ferndog, for really developing these really solid draft performances, even domestically as well as at this tournament.
Yeah, XL have a really good support staff around this roster that enables them to perform as well as they can on the Rift by helping them off the Rift. And like you mentioned, XL with his draft, the analysts as well that work with them do a lot of good work. And for me, specifically, this Kha'Zix ban from XL leans towards XL wanting to play Trundle, but not wanting to play versus Aesthetics Kha'Zix, because it's a good matchup into Trundle specifically.
Yeah, just to jump in here right now, we also see the different ideas when you just alluded to their support stuff and whatnot. They ban out the Morgana, and every ADC is open right now. And if you're banning out Morgana, generally Morgana Caitlyn is an extremely good lane to Xayah Rakan if you're playing confidently and hitting your bitings, because you can just one-shot basically either Xayah or Rakan. And it's really difficult because there's so much range going on. Then there's the Black Shield and so on. So this is a really, really solid lane. And now they left open all the ADCs. They first pick Caitlyn, so I'm looking forward. Maybe they're picking a Xayah Rakan, or they just leave everything open because they just wanted to remove the strong Morgana Caitlyn lane. Venza
really likes his Varus as well. They've prioritized that Varus pick. I believe they even first picked it in a game. So it wouldn't be surprising to see them go for it. There it is. It's locked in as well. So Trundle and Varus, I kind of alluded to these two picks as this being XL doing what XL likes to do, and I mentioned they've had comfortable drafts in the past, and so far this looks like it's setting up to be another one for them.
Looks like it indeed. Now the Caitlyn first pick, though, is an interesting one. We saw it a lot during the play-in stages that it happened on the blue side, and it fits the style that Raphael and Lion like to do, which is really kind of play
probably a Braum
defensively, really just not let themselves lose any lanes. So we switch it over. There's the Alistar. That is some playmaking potential, though.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward what the different ideas are. I think right now XL Esports just got like all the comfort picks and Trundle and Varus, and I mean Atlantis. I think Alistar Caitlyn is a solid lane as well, but it's not standout ideas.
All right,
we got a Zoe lock in.
Okay, let's see if we can see like a Ryze, a Taliyah, or if they just keep the pick. Honestly,
I feel like the Taliyah pick is would be the comfort pick here, but I'm curious to see whether they go for the Braum, because Duel was known as a Braum one-trick in the past, and he was bantering on Twitter with Venza, saying how he's just happy he doesn't have to play Braum every game because it gets banned away from him. But it's not been banned away. But this is the thing, is if they either would go for this Taliyah here, or they would pick up the Braum, because most likely, having locked in that Taliyah, Braum will now be taken away. And what do you want to go for after that?
Yeah. Really quick before you guys go further down that road, I did want to point out that, of course, the mid laner Hollow is actually in the substitute for Atlantis. They had made a change up. It was not reflected in our graphic, but he will be the different player for Team Atlantis this time around. So with the Zoe pickup, that is a little bit of the unexpectedness. It's matched by Krumel's Taliyah, though, that you were alluding to, who went 7-2-7 up against ClickTech's mid laner.
Don't give Krumel Taliyah, really. I mean, it's not just that he's so good on Taliyah, but it's that when you take him off of Taliyah, he has looked quite weak, honestly. And playing into Milica, and when you mentioned that Taliyah performance, that's not up against a rubbish team. That's up against ClickTech and Milica in the mid lane. It's tough to perform well against that kind of caliber, and he's been able to do it. So honestly, I'm not a fan of giving over Taliyah onto Krumel. Obviously, if you're on the enemy team, I'm not a fan of it. If you're an XL, You love that. You'll take that any day of the week.
And there's no bias whatsoever towards any team.
Ah,
Definitely not.
Totally. Look, I have an EU flag with me today.
There we go. Very
bias.
EU Foxtrot. Now, guys, there are so many jungle bans, though, that XL are throwing out. It's all these carry junglers, the Nidalee, the Lee Sin on top of the Kazakhs. It seems like these guys are very, very much respecting aesthetic.
I mean, it's making sense. Like, if we just, take a second here and look at the drafts right now, XL got Trundle, wants to play the strong jungler card here with Italia, and definitely snowball early game, maybe invade some jungle camps, maybe do something aggressive and not wanting to give an inch to the enemy. And, Zoe is one of the picks that is relatively scary, like level 1, level 2, level 3 with a sleepy bubble.
Oh, that's locked in.
Oh, Graves.
And, yeah.
We saw Tinks do this.
So
Stank's
now,
the same kind of jungler.
Exactly. Now it comes to the question, who will win the mid lane 2v2 matchup and who gets pushes. Will be very, very interesting to see, because bot lane right now seems a little bit dry. Let's be honest, it's like it's a Varus lane into Alistar Caitlyn.
That's how Atlantis like it, though. They don't tend to make these aggressive plays. They're playing around the top side of the map.
I thought you were going to make a dry joke.
With dry joke, yeah.
When things
Definitely
get wet,
not.
I was
there's
like,
Atlantis, that's bad
okay.
news.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Wow.
you did go with it. I want to see XL put Sendo. I know it's too late to do this, but I feel like just stick Sendo on something safe. Anytime he's picked these carry matchups, in the pure 1v1, he's not winning. Taxa then has to make up for it, and in Taxa's, to his credit, he's been able to do that, and he's been able to put Sendo in a favorable position through ganks and through pressure, but that puts a lot of your focus into the top side if you're XL.
I like the pick, though, from my side, because even that you say that maybe he's not, like, play-wise or player-wise, this is not the maybe most sound decision. If you're looking at the team comp, again, they have like a Varus lane, bot lane that's relatively safe. Talia is self-sufficient as well. They have all this pressure on the map. They have all this safety that they, use ultimate, use Talia ultimate. And they need to invest it into something that snowballs relatively good. So if this goes into mid-game with a 1-3-1 composition or playing 1-4 with a and Talia covering for your Camille, this might get really, really difficult for Atlantis to tackle.
It certainly might do. A lot of interesting picks here, gentlemen. Really quick, let's go ahead and flash up the Team Atlantis roster one more time to reflect that change. Hollow in the mid lane. So with the Zoe, it's the first Zoe of the tournament. We haven't seen this guy play so far. It definitely seems like a way to throw a curveball XL's way.
It was blind as well, so there's a lot of confidence coming into that pick when you don't care who you're going up against. You're just going to pick the Zoe.
Kramel's Talia, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're running it into Kramel's Talia, and it's... We'll see if it pays off. Zoe has... I would say a well-played Zoe can definitely carry a team.
All right, well, then I'm going to move it over to Sheepy first. Who do you think is going to take this game 1 and why?
I think XL Esports, I think that their team comp is interesting, and it really depends on how Camille is playing it and snowballing it and how they snowball the early game, but just from how strong their groups were and what player strength they showed so far, I think they should take this.
All right, Foxy?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to vote against XL. They got a very comfortable draft this time as well. Ferndog doing work there too. And yeah, I think they're just a better team with a good draft, so I'm going to have to give it over to them too.
All right, let's go ahead and send it off to our casters to see if our analyst predictions are correct. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Pyra. Hello, I am Jet Kipro Matthews, and joining me is Celtic Tiger Brennan. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game. I actually really like both drafts coming out from these teams. Very aggressive from Atlantis.
Yeah, well, Atlantis versus XL, UK's last hope and the Nordics' last hope as well. So all to play for here. One of these teams will be going out. It is obviously a best of 3. So this is the feeler game. As Foxtrot called it yesterday, you get your antennas out, you feel around, and see actually how the state of the game is going to go, and then you look towards your next game. For each team, though, they want to win this first game because that puts them in a strong position. They only need to win 2 games, and you do not want to be going down in that first game.
Yeah, I feel like a feeler game is better in a best of 5. If this is a best of 3, it really sets up your momentum, and then it's just one wrong fight can completely lose you the series. Very dangerous to be willing to give up that first game just for information.
Well, we'll have to see exactly how it shapes out. So teams will be taken to the Rift relatively shortly. Now, I do want to have a little talk about some of these matchups here. Obviously, Hollow, a bit of an unknown. Haven't actually seen him. Got himself the Zoe into Camille's very famous Talia.
Yeah, and I mean, Zoe does offer a lot of pick. This whole comp really accentuates that. I have seen XL execute very well in their win conditions, and I think with that Zoe, they're likely looking to play into it. Remo will be a hard lane to punish, though, because he's gone for that cleanse.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on the mid, and we're also going to keep our eyes on these junglers as we take to the Summoner's Rift. XL taking on Atlantis. Sweden versus the UK. All is on the line for these teams, for these countries, their last representatives.
And I really want to see where the junglers play, as you just mentioned. You pick up this Graves, you want to play aggressive. You want to start fighting Taxer as the Trundle because you specifically picked this matchup. On the other side, Taxer just wants to make sure he's well known in the lanes, start getting himself in there, seeing if he can find fights.
And what we saw as well during the playing stages, Taxer, he was very proactive on the map. He was walking around constantly putting the ganks in. Looked very, very good versus ClickTech, who's pretty active as well during the Origin game. Even though they didn't win that game, he was still very active on the map trying to make that work. What was highlighted to me by Foxdrop during those games is Sendo, a potential weak spot for XL. He did get a lot of attention put onto him to make sure he was in a comfortable position. This time is into that carry versus the tank running that Conqueror as well, so has a lot of potential to 1v1 this lane.
Yeah, and I think, you know, looking towards Zvene, who is also the weak link for Atlantis, or was considered as such, as he is their newest member, I think it's a smart lane to go for, knowing that you're hoping you're the stronger player. Yeah, Camille allows you to punish that pretty heavily, but yeah, Conqueror, a little unusual on Camille. Generally, you see if you want to go for the tank matchups, the press the attack, as you, of course, already have a lot of true damage in your kit, but Conqueror will allow for the continual 1v1, with even just the extra AD, ignoring that true damage is still useful.
Now, with these mid laners, Camille versus Hollow in the UK and Irish from ESL Premiership.
Whoa, whoa, they haven't won yet. We'll call it the UK till then.
We generally see a lot of the mid laners, Camille especially as well, like to put the action on the map, like to move around and look for picks in their side lanes. He's got himself on this Talia, which typically shoves a lot harder than Zoe, especially since the Q damage has been nerfed over a couple of different patches. So I want to keep my eye on actually how active Camille can be and where he's going to look to apply his aggression.
Yeah, because certainly a lot of the Zoe nerfs are focused towards her wave clear. Can Talia push up here? And he has, but...
Well, end of the line goes down as Camille, and it looks like a Sleepy Bubble Trouble goes a little bit wide, so Camille will be able to make his way out. Held onto all of his summoner spells, but meanwhile, Taxer's now able to invade and put some vision down for the side of XL.
Yeah, and once he does that, it'll again play up against Aesthetic, who wants to be this active jungler, wants to be this carry jungler, taking some of his farm away and potentially some of his pressure towards these lanes. Always good from Taxer.
Lots of wards have been placed down as well, just so they'll see Taxer if he decides to walk through this tri-bush on his way out. Actually, they didn't place a ward. That was a cow.
Cow ward.
Cow
Not
ward.
so strong.
Well, you know, at some point when you play support, you kind of just feel like you're nothing but a ward.
I will say, though, that it's XL who need to be doing most of the warding because it's Raphael and Lion have allowed themselves to be pushed in. This is something we expected from this matchup, not because of the champions picked, but because of the general playstyle of these guys. But I should continue my point then. Yeah, we could see that Venzer and Jewel have been the much more aggressive lane historically, whereas even throughout the tournament when they've picked these more aggressive lanes like the Alistar, like the Caitlyn, they've been pushed in.
Constantly getting pushed in as well, and you're seeing that start to reflect in these CS numbers as Venzer has himself 10 CS over his counterpart. Raphael is going to be able to pick up a short, small wave here and bring that back a little bit, but meanwhile in the top side you've got Sendo as well, who is down in CS to Zene. Could come off the back of the fact he's been ganked, and there's a big, big wave for him to be able to pick up. They should be able to pull this back.
This is actually fine. Camille doesn't need, you know, to completely match Sion in the early game. Sion, of course, having a lot of poke in the early game with that Roar the Slayer has to be respected. But once Sendo's getting enough farm and able to eventually, you know, hit that kind of 2-item spike that Camille loves to get, you know, one of the either the Ravenous or Titanic Hydra, and of course that Triforce can look quite strong.
Okay, so I want you to talk to me a little bit about these junglers here, Aesthetic and Taxer. I'll talk about their champions more specifically. I want to see actually what they're going to do, because obviously Aesthetic does have a point where he kind of falls off, and Taxer will be relatively relevant as we move later on into the game with his Subjugate.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that Trundle has been this first pick priority because he has so many good matchups and can even go for the 1v1 early on. But
well, he could go for a 2v1 where he's got Camille coming up, Hollow's on his way through. Seismic Shove goes a little bit wide. Meanwhile, Lion trying to get those stuns down, taking a lot of poke. Stun connects with the Tongue Lash, and Venzer just getting a lot of time to free fire. Lion forced to flash in the bot lane.
that W had come up for Jewel if he'd gone for the flash forward. Might have been able to pick him up there, but decides, you know, we get the good trade regardless. Let's take what has been effectively gifted to us with smart trading.
Have to see exactly how this lane will shape out a little bit more. As XL, like you said, are in this smart trading duel. It's actually flash forward, thrown down the Ignite, gets headbutted back, but the Weaver's Wall's coming through. Camille's on his way down, looking to get those threaded volleys in, and then Venza goes down for first blood, picking up Lion.
Yeah, you always have to be careful about the level 6 roam from Taliyah, especially Krimmel, and this comes back to what we talked about in the mid lane. Zoe does not have enough wave clear to pressure Taliyah. Krimmel opened up the map by pushing in his own wave, and then got the free roam down. Good first blood.
This does mean XL should be able to pick up this Infernal Drake if they'd like to, although for now it looks like just trying to get a little bit of vision. Maybe looking to contest it as for Svetic. Trying to look for Sendo. He's going to use the hook shot to get out, but Sendo now on the run as Svetic chasing him down. Does have that flash as he gets over, gets a blast cone as well to boot, sending Zenny back. Is miles away from the rest of his team, and the Scryer's Bloom will spot him out. Sendo, hook shot's going to be available in a couple of seconds as Infernal Drake gets picked up. XL just looking to sacrifice their top laner. He's not going to be able to make his way out, but Sendo now does have that hook shot, but gets headbutt polarized up. Lion now trying to pump that damage in as Svetic goes forward. Sendo trying to get those Hextech precision protocols down, but it doesn't matter as Svetic picks up the kill.
That headbutt pulverize is very important. Had that not come through, you might have seen Sendo able to escape with the hook shot, but as it is now, Atlantis gonna try and pressure Taxer.
Well, he's been sent to Drowsy with the Sleepy Bubble Trouble. A lot of damage coming into Taxer. He's ignited up, and Joel has gobbled him through. Flash forward as he's trying to chase him with the auto attacks. Hollow connects down the kill, but now Venza free-firing out his full health at the moment as Camille making his way down. Then looking to return back as the threatened volley picks up the kill. A seismic shove is flashed back by him as the Svetic enters in. Raphael is so low, but Venza is just as low. He gets that last auto attack in, but it doesn't make it happen. Camille finds the double kill, and now he's in a 3v1. Camille forced to flash over the wall as Aesthetic chases after him, and it's going to be a triple kill for Aesthetic.
And this is the carry you want your kills on. Aesthetic has been your pick for the carry role. Picks himself up 3 kills, picked himself up a 4th kill, I suppose, after the one he got in the top lane. A massive turnaround for Atlantis in terms of momentum.
And a massive misplay by XL. Not playing around the vision. Tax is overextended into that red buff, gets punished, and the rest of the team tried to salvage the situation.
And what I love there is the way Hollow used the Spell Thief. He waited as each of the heals and the flashes were used. He managed to pick up each one and use it in really key ways in the center of that fight.
Absolutely insane team fight. And Hollow, this substitute mid laner for Atlantis, really starting to show up now. And we were talking, like you just said, Aesthetic and Taxi were our lanes to watch, and you've now got a 4-0 Graves. This is not what XL want to have going into their first game in this best of 3.
Even just look at the item advantage he picked up off that. He now has his completed warrior versus a ruby crystal and smite item. So very dangerous. And now, I mean, even if Taxa shows up, he wins the 1v1. You can see Hollow ready to respond.
Hollow got that lane priority. We do see a mirrored play going down in the bot side though. Camille was making his way down. First turret blood will get picked up by Atlantis. I'll have to see the health bar of that turret bot lane to see actually how close XL are on the punch, but feels like they're a little bit slower. Sendo going in, Hextech ultimatum goes down. Now Camille pumping out that damage with those Weaver's Walls, but Hollow is ducking and diving away. Here comes the threaded volley, and Camille able to get himself a kill.
Yeah, they can keep pushing in the top lane. They have the very strong Graves. They have a really good tower push because he also has red buff.
And meanwhile, Tax is just counter-jungling at the moment. Not seeing too much damage getting put down into this bot side by Venza and Joel, as well as hopefully get our camera down there to see exactly what's going on. But it looks like Svene is on his way down as well. And that turret lost half of its health. XL did not have the tempo. They could not match Atlantis' speed in this game.
Yeah, and again, a really solid early move from Atlantis. The early aggression is what Atlantis seemed to struggle with before, because if they, if Aesthetic fell behind, he wasn't able to find a good way back into the game, and the rest of the team weren't really able to play without him being far ahead. Picks up those 4 kills, and immediately they start using it to control the map.
We're gonna have to see exactly if Atlantis can keep that map control up though. As XL now need to try and find a position to get back in this game. As Atlantis just getting this ward control down around this rift-held area, so expect to see them try and put some plays down there. Remember, Graves is very, very fed. Finished up that Warriors to a non-finished Cinderhulk for Taxa. And look at that CS in the top lead, 86 to 56. It's gone up to 90 now.
And part of that is we talked about how his matchup was somewhat weaker early on, and then these rotations, but Atlantis...
Well, looks like Duel could get caught out here. Has got Venza on his way down. Duel with the grey health trying to tank up as much as possible. And it looks like actually they're not going to be able to chase for a little bit more, but Aesthetic on his way up and Lion as well. There's a teleport coming down. This is going to be a bad situation. A great flash over by Lion. He goes in. Raphael able to find himself a kill.
Duel as well now.
Oh, Zoppel onslaught, ace in the hole coming down. Duel can flash over that wall towards the rest of his team. It's a great pick though. Collateral damage! Almost puts the damage out. XL now will be able to at least answer back with a mid lane turret. So they're keeping this gold as close as they can. It's 1.2k over to Atlantis though for the moment.
Yeah, it's not insanely far away from them, but Atlantis, I was worried there that they weren't going to make a smart objective call, because they did effectively just go for those kills with what looked like nothing in mind, but they at least managed to pick themselves up Rift Herald. In the meantime, I like what Excel are doing here. You just took the mid tower, now move towards that bot tower. You have the Trundle, you do have good damage for this.
You also have the Camille as well. Lots of auto-attack resets that XL can put out here. And you're seeing that turret falling down pretty quick, but not quick enough as Vene is able to clear out that wave.
Atlantis now still in control. XL finding themselves good openings though. Just a 1k gold lead in favor of Atlantis. It's still fairly close even after that horrible fight for XL in the bot lane.
Now Celtic, we talked actually about how XL we thought were the stronger team coming into this. We were kind of predicting a 2-0 behind stage. But Atlantis showing up. And remember, XL are the team that challenged our Balkan Bros.
And what I like about this is they've gone for a much more active mid laner in that Zoe pick, and on top of that it seems Hollow's playstyle seems to be more active. He managed to make himself known on the map early on, getting into that fight even earlier than Aesthetic, who ended up cleaning it up. So I would want to give a big shout out to him and the way the team have played around this early aggression that Excel was attempting to use to speed up the game in their favor.
It does feel like the substitute mid laner, this unknown for XL, really is starting to play dividends for the side of Atlantis, as Venza taking so much damage versus Vene. Aesthetic is going to be able to pick himself up a Cloud Drake, so it will be draw one Drake apiece, an Infernal to a Cloud, but still, big gold lead. And look at the map, Tax is trying to come down. The Chains of Corruptions are landed. Remember, there's a Subjugate available as Tax has already popped it. Venza very low. It's going to be Taxa stepping forward. The shields are there. Tax is underneath the turret. I don't think they can find it. A knockout comes down and Svene is slowed. Joel gobbles up the troll, trying to find that damage, but Svene turning it around. Ooh. Tongue lash from Joel comes out, and they will be able to get themselves a kill and a turret. XL, that was not where they wanted to be.
And it's given them the time in the bot lane. Atlantis now pushed up. They can maybe kill Sendo if he goes too far forward.
Sendo already under fire. Does have that hook shot so he can slide his way out, but Aesthetic trying to put the damage with Hollow onto this mid lane turret. Camille able to hold out tight, but now with 4 members going bot side, looks like XL are trying to answer back, and actually they this time have the tempo advantage over their counterparts.
But it should be quickly followed again, but they're looking for this bot inner tower, but looks like Sendo's actually going to be able to defend it. Very worried from from Atlantis' side of committing to that and losing another inner tower in this mid lane.
Watch the rest of Atlantis. They're making their way up towards this mid lane. Looks like XL play with a bit of respect and walk away from all the action, but now the dust has settled. The gold lead is now a mere 500. XL are pulling this back slowly but surely.
And look how active a game this is. 14.5 minutes, not even at the 15-minute mark. It's 6-4 in kills. The gold lead has been evened up. And look, the amount of towers that have been taken, the amount of neutral objectives that have been focused down. It's a very insanely active early game, something that I really want to praise both teams for.
And we're also hitting that point now where these item spikes are starting to come through for some of these players. Zoe's got that Luden's Echo, does apply her a lot more damage, gives her some wave clear as well, like we talked at the beginning. Did struggle with that. Venza's now sitting on that Rage Blade. He's got that build towards the Cutlass, so he's building towards that Blade of the Ruined King. And he's going to hit his power spike a lot quicker than Raphael on this Caitlyn. So XL definitely had a hard early game, a weaker early game. And Atlantis were able to punish that, but now for Atlantis, they need to turn their attention towards how they're going to play the tempo heading into mid-game.
And what I like from XL was that Atlantis, you know, that they had that really great fight for Atlantis in the bot lane. It, you know, shoved Aesthetic into the lead. Atlantis as a whole looked quite strong. And what XL have done is moved around the map smarter, managed to pick themselves up more towers. even that gold lead that Atlantis had picked up to a mere 500 now.
But we're seeing Cromel do a really good job of holding out the wave, but it looks like Headbutt Pulverize from Lions coming out. Taxa stepping forward. This wave will remain. Duel now has been engaged on 5 members chasing the Catfish down. He gets instantly knocked up and just obliterated. Zvene able to find himself that kill. Now what can Atlantis do with this?
They can try siege up towards the mid lane. It's on Criminal to try keep it safe, but the strength of the Atlantis comp is how aggressive they are at this point of the game. Lion can just go for the engage, and I really like that Raphael and Lion have changed their defensive style to match the pace of the game necessary for them to come out ahead in the European Masters.
Well, Pilot will send the minions back and slow down the rest of the team. Venza's now joined up with his team, but Sendo is topside, not going to be able to help his team. Zvene in a very similar position, but both of these top laners do have teleports. We need to keep our eyes on that. See how they're going to play around. It looks like XL now starting to shove Atlantis a bit further away, and now it's on them to place these wards down, try and get a bit of control on the map.
Yeah, and I think XL have maintained surprisingly in control for how aggressive and ahead the Atlantis comp were. The gold lead still in Atlantis' favor, but you know, you can see the way XL are moving. They're not giving up too much. They're trying to hold on to what they can, scale up, and hopefully for them, eventually find themselves a fight they can win.
Well, they're placing these aggressive wards down around the Dragon area, knowing that spawns in 1 minute 50. XL definitely wanting to try and get themselves this next Drake. Is a big one. It's a Mountain Drake. Helps them take down these objectives nice and fast. And objectives are going to be one of the key ways that XL can pull this gold back into their favor, as they're still 1k down to their counterparts. And they're starting to hit their spikes. They're starting to hit their stride.
Yeah, I expect now that XL will want to fight for this dragon. They've already gotten the control, as you mentioned. Atlantis should now be starting to move forward. It's now up just under 1.5 minutes until it spawns. They can, you know, try clear out some of the aggressive vision you noted from XL. Start moving their own vision in there and try get control over these neutral objectives. They are still ahead. They do have this aggressive engage comp, so if XL overcommit to this dragon, it could be a big fight for Atlantis.
And that's the scary thing. The engage coming through from Atlantis. Very, very dangerous. They've got lots of pick potential as well. And you just have to think about the Scion, the Alistair, lends so much in these big fights.
Yeah, and on top of that, you then followed up with these long-range Zoe Qs. You have, obviously, Graves for the massive AoE damage. And even with the engage, the Caitlyn traps do quite a bit of damage, even before she hits her 3-item spike.
2 items being picked up on Venza now on this Varus. We did actually see a Rift Herald get cancelled up by Cromel. Great Weaver's Warded so.
Oh.
So even though we were talking about the neutral objectives just a few moments ago, that's a very, very big one for Team Atlantis, and it actually was just instantly cancelled out by Cromel.
XL with, again, this smart objective play that we expected from them, but Atlantis certainly showing up a lot stronger, showing that they're not willing to be removed as this big Nordic representative.
Well, Mountain Drake spawning out. It looks like XL do have control over that for the moment. Ascendo now versus Zvene, feeling a little bit more confident. Hasn't got that Triforce finished up though, and Zvene pretty tanky. 4 members of Atlantis stepping forward, wanting to deny XL any vision, any control over this Baron area.
See now that Atlantis can just walk up and maintain control. They have this very strong burst aggression comp that they can use to zone away XL. Even though XL had all the vision, Atlantis know that as long as they're still grouped, there's no good way for XL to pick them off.
And neither team willing to really commit here because of how much is on the line. You know, this is a best of 3, this is playoffs. If you don't make it all the way through, well, if you don't win this series, you're out of the European Masters. So much for these teams. Now we're seeing Atlantis, know that they've got control of this river. They're going to get themselves onto this Mountain Drake, and it looks like XL are not going to respond. So Mountain Drake picked up uncontested by Team Atlantis.
And Atlantis now looking like they want to maintain control. I like how they've moved around the map, how they've still maintained good control of it. Even when XL started to make smarter moves, Atlantis haven't ever lost control. They've always been able to match it.
I think that speaks big for Atlantis and XL, being able to trade these objectives 1 for 1. XL, considering how hard the early game was for them, you know, you have Aesthetic going 4-0 on the Graves in the early game. XL managed to hold on to this game for as much as possible, but Atlantis just looking like a very different team with Hollow in the mid, looking a lot more comfortable. And they're punishing the fact that Cremil, like you said, has a relatively uninteractive pool.
And while we talked about Hollow as the big change, I think another big change I want to note is Raphael and Lion playing so much better early on, not willing to play their usual defensive side. We'd seen Lion move towards the Taric multiple times, you know, just playing it very passive, looking to save his team. This time, now is the big engage. He'll need to step up as they enter this, or as they're comfortably in the mid game.
And I think that goes back to draft as well. Typically, Duel looks really good on these very aggressive supports, likes his Braum, likes his Alistair, but this time he's been forced onto a more defensive one as he's seeing him getting flashed out. Cremil on the side as Venza trying to pump as much damage, but Duel has been caught out. Chains of Corruption going down and Svene's losing a lot of health. In comes the ace in the hole as Duel looking to block it out. Heal comes down, Hollow not able to get an opening as a turret falls down in the bot lane. Sendo wasn't even there.
And we've seen teams do this before, where they, you know, you commit to this 4v4 and you manage to escape. Still absolutely fine for these guys as long as Sendo can maintain the push. But Atlantis now looking to catch people out.
Wants to step forward. Tongue Lash will slow him down and a pillar to follow. Looks like Atlantis have been slowed down a little bit, but watch Cremil does have that Weaver's Wall, could spread the team apart for the moment.
Oh.
Drowsy's gone down. Aesthetic manages to land a collateral damage and pick up Taxa.
And look how clean these Zoe combos are from Hollow, able to play it forward, throws out the E as he's about to be pulled back with the ultimate. Beautifully timed, picks himself up Taxer.
And the health bars are still full for Atlantis. They're turning straight onto this Baron. It's 22 minutes on the clock, so it will do a lot of damage. Weaver's Wall's coming out from Cremil, just splitting the team apart. Venza is on the side with Duel, and Sendo making his way down. A two-man side shot from Cremil. He's looking to try and get a kill onto Lion. That's going to be the Baron picked up, and the piercing arrow doesn't do enough damage. Cremil now trying to get a little bit extra out, but he's not going to do so. Drowsy connects onto Duel, but he's nice and healthy. He'll be fine.
Yeah, Sendo might have picked someone off. They got a bit overeager for that one and managed to pick themselves up the Baron again. Atlantis showing just so much stronger. And we were talking about, okay, maybe the mid laner isn't the only change. There was a lot of other things going on, but certainly Hollow making his presence known and catching out that jungler.
And this is what's making this tournament so exciting. So many upsets, so many teams who you think are stronger, and then they show up on the day as a completely different team. XL, we even thought this about them, and they managed to take down ClickTech twice.
And one of the big things I want to note is this is the second time we've seen someone sub in for a team in this tournament, and suddenly the team completely changed their playstyle and look much stronger. Movistar Riders swap in Xyrus for Flaxish, and suddenly they're again back on form from play-ins. Atlantis swap in Hollow into the mid lane, and suddenly they're this much more aggressive side that doesn't only rely on aesthetic to carry.
It is nice to see more than just aesthetic being that key player, because obviously we did highlight him. We also highlighted Taxa, who has been hard shut down this game. 0-2 on that Trundle, not being able to do anything. And this is what you got to expect out of aesthetic, man. He has such a big champion pool. He's capable of playing so many off-meta roles. And he's looking very, very good. It does look like Lion's hanging over that wall. Does have flash if you wanted to go for a spicy engage, but it looks like for now, just got their bot lane and their top lane hanging around bot lane for the moment.
Yeah, and you can see even without the Caitlyn here, XL have to be careful, because one catch out by Hollow.
Oh, well, they're throwing down Cremil. He's coming in with the Weaver's Wall, trying to get a bit of damage out. It's Hollow now on the run. Watch Sando on the side, goes in with that hookshot. Flash instantly thrown down. And Atlantis peel away from the engage. Venza still holding on to that Chains of Corruption, but doesn't have heal. Very, very immobile on this Varus.
You know, I think that was smart to use the flash from Hollow. Might have looked a bit unnecessary, but if that Hextech ultimatum came down, likely would have been him going down, but in comes Svene. Thought it might have been an engage there, but no, just looking to catch up with the rest of his team.
Oh, Aesthetic taking a lot of damage from Cremel for the moment, but it looks like the siege is still well and truly on. Venza's been forced back as he took way too much. And he's looking to go get himself a bit of a base off. Sendo still in the top side, pretty much uncontested. He has that Trinity Force. He has a lot of damage with those precision protocols. And this turret is actually going to melt. I actually don't think Atlantis can respond in time.
Yeah, you now have Aesthetic going to fight the Camille. Does manage to get there, but not before the tower goes down. XL again comes back to the objective control we noted for them.
And I had my concerns about Sendo. He has now got himself a massive CS lead over Svene. He hasn't been very active in the actual team fights, but what he has been doing is while XL have been losing on the other side of the map, he's been winning for them. He managed to split push bot lane for them. He's now just split push top, and there's now an open inhibitor that Atlantis have to be very concerned about.
And one of the things I liked from ClickTech yesterday is they finally executed on a split push comp that many teams had struggled with. While XL have been caught out, Atlantis have been a good proactive team. XL now realize their win condition has shifted towards getting this Camille split pushing and have executed on it, for now at the very least.
Well, Infernal Drake is spawning up here. Black Cleaver, and he's building towards the Zeal, so that could be a crit build coming through on Aesthetic. So he might be able to do a lot of damage to those auto attacks. As Taxa gets his health bar chunked by Lion.
Yeah, you can see we saw the lethality build come out from Graves before when Tiggs played it. This time going for a little less of a burst-oriented build. Although still extremely bursty, will be a little better into this tankier members.
XL are literally just straight up giving up this Drake. They're running it straight down mid, looking to try and get the turrets. As Sendo in the top lane, taking so much damage from Hollow, and Svene forces his flash out. The rest of the team coming to back him up. And nothing gained for XL as Atlantis are able to pick up the Infernal Drake and defend their base. They now have a Mountain, a Cloud, and an Infernal.
Now, of course, again, Hollow moving around the map, responding to what his team needs to. This Zoe pick, it was picked blind, and for now, showing up absolutely for Atlantis here.
26 minutes on the clock. Gold lead. Still 1,000 between these two teams. It's very, very close. This game rests on a knife's edge, and speaking of edges, Infinity Edge and Double Energizer picked up by Raphael.
Now, gotten past that Caitlyn power trough is looking strong. This is a really good spot for Atlantis to be in. If anyone gets picked up by Lion, they're just quickly burst out by the combo of Zoe, Graves, Caitlyn.
You need to be very concerned about Sendo, though. Does have his teleport available, so he's able to split push and still remain a threat for the rest of the team. Sendo now just trying to get the split push going down as quick as possible. We see Duel gobble up Cromel to make sure he doesn't get picked up by that ace in the hole. And the rest of the team now just needs to defend. Buy time for Sendo to be able to actually pick up an opening, but it's a 5v4 inside the base. This could be really, really big. Seismic Shock's already gone wide as Lion's gone with headbutt pulverized onto Venza. It's going straight onto Cromel in the back, and that will be the turret falling down. Venza still free firing up. Cromel has the shield on. Lion's health bar is getting melted so fast, but Venza is going to go out. It's been a 1 for the turret in the favor of XL. Sendo now has entered into the fray, but the inhibitor falls. And Atlantis can be very happy with that siege.
Yeah, and it was aggression from Atlantis, who was talking about how once the Alistair comes in, people will be burst out. A good response from Jewel, though, keeps their carries safe. And they managed to just about make it out the back. Atlantis still with the objective advantage, though. Willing to play forward. Baron in 1 minute. XL have the momentum to now control the Baron vision. But Atlantis, with the pick potential, can always try re-establish it afterwards.
And Sendo had to TP into that lane as well, so you see how much damage he was able to put onto the turret. It's half health, this bot lane turret, constantly opening up potential threats for XL to punish Atlantis, but Atlantis just going into their faces constantly, making sure that XL don't get a chance to punish and don't get a chance to crack open the base in return.
You know what XL want to do? They want to continually slow down this game. They want to make sure Sendo could split push, especially as Baron comes up. It's very important that he controls the bot lane wave. He wants to try drag as many people bot as possible so his team can turn onto that Baron. On the other side, they just want to force a fight around that Baron area for Atlantis and then quickly turn onto it themselves. For that, you will need to maintain vision control. XL have good vision control right now. Atlantis looking to clear it out, looking to establish their own around the area.
It is the battle for vision going down for both of these teams. As Sendo still split pushing away in that bot lane, still trading as much as he can, trying to force Svene out, but it's hard when this is a very, very tanky Sion. But Sendo now is going in onto his counterpart, but that is going to do a lot of damage.
You have that 2-item spike for Sendo. He's able to just heal that off with the Ravenous Hydra, so he can just continually trade and will eventually force Svene back.
Meanwhile, the rest of the team trying to get a bit of a poke and a siege going forward. It's Camille hanging over this wall, looking for that perfect seismic shove, looking for that perfect combo. Didn't quite connect it there. Ascendo now actually maybe he's just going to ignore his counterpart and go straight onto this inhibitor. Or he could just go for the 1v1. There's quite a few options to him. Like I said, he's got that Ravenous Hydra, but the rest of the Lions are coming down. This is great. This is buying time for XL. Can Sendo actually get himself an inhibitor? I don't think he can, as Lion now should be able to alleviate some of that pressure. Watch out for the headbutt pulverize. Sendo now holding onto that hook shot. He's going to land it onto Zenit. He's going 1v2 at the Nexus as the rest of the team are going in. There's the Hextech ultimatum. Sendo trying to buy as much time as he can. Can he get the inhibitor? He's got the stun down. He's got the auto attacks. XL are able to find an inhib, but what are they going to do with the rest of the team?
Yeah, you can see it was actually Aesthetics Flash just forced in the mid lane. XL tried to make the aggressive play while 2 people were down there. Smart move, as you do have the numbers advantage, but now Atlantis in control. Sendo down for 40 seconds. Can they start moving towards this Baron? They can at least gain control, but can they commit to it?
Taxa has stolen a Baron before. Atlantis will probably be very much aware of this and not willing to let him even be alive if they're going to attempt it out. Drowsy's got down to Duel. Duel could just get bursted out as Camille with the seismic shove. Ace in the hole coming down. Aesthetic is so low. He's burning down with a piercing arrow. Narrowly dodged out, and Venza unable to find the opening. This is fine for XL though.
This is perfect for XL. You've now forced them away from the Baron, or so they think. Atlantis now willing to commit to it. They know they still have the numbers advantage. No TP onto Sendo.
Pink Water's come down as well, so they know that that's going on. They have complete vision of it. Watch Camille, watch Taxa. Nasher is so low. Venza poking out.
Oh no!
What happened there? Taxa, that was beautiful!
The perfectly timed way in, way out. Taxer picks it up. A huge momentum turn for XL now. They could perfectly execute a split push comp, but a beautiful steal.
Taxa, you monster! That is the second time in the European Masters. We need to see that again.
Look at this timing. He managed to get in. It's now at 1.5k, 400. There was that split second. You could barely see a change in slow-mo. It looks so easy, but
oh my lord! I think
perfect
Taxa
time in.
just held this game together for XL. It was looking dire, even though they had that inhibitor. Atlantis had so much control, and now with this, it's bought time for XL. Gold lead for the first time in 30 minutes is in favor of XL. It's 2k, and now we need to watch Sendo. He has been split pushing as well. He has been doing so well for this team.
You already have that top inhib. You just need to set up an 0-4-1. Leave Sendo in the side lane. Keep the rest of your team split up. And it's just so hard for Atlantis to respond now. XL have scaled up, and we've seen what Venza could do once the game scales ahead.
Well, Venza, big CS lead over his counterpart, building towards that Infinity Edge now. This will be the last turret outside of the base for Atlantis falling down. And we need to keep our eyes on Aesthetic. He is that big carry player for Atlantis. As we see, Drowsy connects onto Taxa. Just going to take a Piltover Peacemaker to the back of the head.
For those wondering, Graves actually couldn't burst him from that angle because the tower was in the way of the end of the line. If you were wondering why he just sat there and watched him leave.
That is very unfortunate. And this will also be the first Draco XL have been able to get since the first one that spawned in this game.
And that's been the name of the game. Atlantis won that fight around bot lane and have controlled the map since. XL have maintained. They have gone, okay, our win condition has changed. We now need to make sure that Camille can get into a position where we don't lose anything if these guys force us to commit to fights. And this pick comp from Atlantis, it's always risky when you rely on burst. And certainly now trying to punish this Atlantis side, who are now having a much more difficult time bursting anyone out.
Sendo in a 1v2, able to actually hold out pretty strong for the moment. Remember, he's got this Hydra, so he's got a lot of push, but does need to be a little careful as Hollow hurts with that Rabbit Oodles, with that Morellonomicon, and obviously the Luden's Echo in his inventory, while the rest of the team just working in the side waves. You've got Cromel constantly with the Baron buff, just working these supers up forward. And Atlantis having a bit of a problem trying to hold on to their structures.
Yeah, to clarify my point though, it's now much more difficult to burst them, but I don't think I have time.
Well, Weaver's Walls there, they've already thrown down that collateral damage, and we're seeing the traps being soaked up, but Taxa with the Subjugate is very tanky. Sendo going 1v1 underneath the tower shots are coming through, Ace in the hole to buy a bit of time as Raphael is able to pick up the kill.
I was going to say, part of the reason they're having difficulty bursting people out is because, of course, you have that Tam Kench. You have people who've now gone up in terms of tankiness. Ooh, but it does seem Atlantis have still managed to find their openings, knowing that their team comp is not out of the game yet.
We thought this game was going to be so more one-sided XL showed up so well in the play-ins and in the group stages, taking down ClickTech, punishing the undefeated Balkan Bros. And now Team Atlantis, the last hope for the Nordics, holding out fast, holding out strong.
Yeah, certainly the last hope for the Nordic Open representatives, PBK having fallen in play-ins. And now it is the engage.
Well, they're looking to go on to Venza, but they've got to change the corruption, and he's going to get gobbled up as Hollow's trying to find that opening. A great poke from Krumel onto Raphael, but he is extremely low, and he's forced to flash out. Krumel's on the side as Venza still able to free fire out as XL starting to lose members left, right, and center. TP's coming through from Sendo, and he's going to enter in onto a trap. Instantly gobbled up as the collateral damage will not do anything, but Lion wants a bit more of the catfish as he headbutt pulverizes in. That's going to be one kill for Raphael, and Krumel was unable to get into the fight. Atlantis are able to find one.
And they can keep playing forward now. Yes, Lion is somewhat low, but so are the members of XL. They're scattered. This inhib should be theirs for the taking.
32 seconds till duel's up, and this inhibitor is going to be going down. But if you do watch Sendo just catching the wave, making sure they don't have anything to work with, don't have anything to end with.
I think it would have been a very dangerous end, but I suppose it now does remove that option entirely. Camille, technically on the wrong side of this, but with a lot of mobility with those hook shots to get out of there. Atlantis decide not to go hunting.
Not going to hunt at all. There's a big wave for him to pick up, making sure that doesn't crash in. But speaking of big waves, there's a blooming big wave for Rexel pushing into Atlantis' bot lane. This turret, remember, so low. And if XL can find themselves an opening to get on top of that, that'll be another turret going down.
Fresh stone for a fresh start.
Now, items starting to look fairly even across the board. Even with Atlantis, you know, having fallen slightly further behind in terms of gold than XL, everything looks fairly even. The burst potential will always be there for this Atlantis comp. XL, now especially Sendo, who has to split away from the Tam Kench, struggling not to be burst out.
Sendo doesn't actually have any wards available to him, so he has no vision of the XL team. He's got himself that QSS and Steric, so if he does get caught out, he has his get out of jail free card. But
I think that's the big thing. When we saw him caught out in their last split push, when they were trying to push forward, trying to effectively look for the end with that 0-1-4 or 0-4-1, Sendo did not have the Sterix, did not have the QSS. So once one thing hit him, he was going down.
watch Sendo though, holding around the bush, waiting to see who's going to come deal with this Banner minion. It is going to be Raphael, but he's not fully aware that Svene is also there. Sendo commits for the kill. This could end poorly for him.
Waiting to see if he actually has the numbers advantage, or not the numbers advantage, frankly, the 1v1 that Camille wants.
But you knew that Atlantis had an idea that Sendo was there. They hadn't seen him for a long time, so this gave XL time to walk up, get some vision control down at the Baron pit. And Sendo now just continuing that split push bot lane.
And that's what this bot lane split push can be in the late game. You know, you have the Camille setup, very hard to catch out due to the mobility she has, and realistically, no one can 1v1 her from Atlantis, so you can't just leave Svene to continually deal with her, as you will end up with issues much like this one. Sendo's looking for the kill. Meanwhile, Excel trying to maintain control of Baron.
Lions flashed over the wall. Good Pillar has bought a bit of time, but Duel has been chunked out by Raphael. A teleport is starting to get channeled as Svene could go for that unstoppable onslaught. Sendo going in for the base race backdoor. Who is going to make this work as they're already chasing on? It looks like XL have been able to peel away for the moment, and Sendo is doing some work to
If they can cancel backs, this could be the end.
Wall's been placed down, and now the rest of XL coming through. A great seismic shove onto Asphetic as he collateral damages back. Sendo still inside the base, still trying to get that damage out. The teleport, the recall, sorry, is starting to come through. Sendo won't be able to drop a turret, or I might be wrong. These bases
he'll
are
be able to go down. This is what I'm saying. He can absolutely end with this wave if no one gets to respond to him. Svene there. Also force Aesthetic back. Now it's Excel, still in control of this Baron area, and just got themselves another good objective lead. Excel just controlling the Rift.
Solid control by XL. It's still oh so close though. Atlantis proving to be a better team fighting team at the moment.
Elder Drake now could be moved to for XL. They are in the area, but you see Atlantis trying to respond. Move towards the Baron themselves. Very back and forth, and without Sendo pushing, they need to do something.
Well, it looks like XL are on their way down. That Baron is getting melted through. Taxa needs to make that hero play one more time. 3k health on the Baron. Taxa's going to go over the wall, but he doesn't quite get it in time. Now he's throwing down the Subjugate. Drowsy is connected on Skrumil. He's instantly cleansed it out. Ace in the Hole is going to come through, and it's going to be a 1-for-1. Ascendo now very, very low. This could be bad. Venza already forced a base. Hook shot comes out by Ascendo, and he's going to be able to peel away.
But it was a trade for the Elder Dragon. They did have Venzer down there taking it, so they do manage to get that at the very least. So Elder for Baron. Can they use this Elder? If they can use this Elder, find themselves a fight, it will have been worth it for XL as they could quickly turn the game.
The question is, can Atlantis use the Nasher though? On the contrary. Remember, the first Elder's not quite as strong as that second one. This does still give a win condition, though, over to XL if they can buy time, hold on to this game. As we're 40 minutes on the clock, this has been a pretty long game for the European Masters.
Sorry, I should reiterate, XL have the gold lead. They do have good control. They have been using Sendo effectively, so it's not that they're turning the game as such, but certainly giving themselves more avenues in, as Atlantis, with that Baron buff, very scary team to have to go up against if they have an opportunity to burst you out.
All item builds are starting to be approached for a lot of these key carries for both of the teams. GA has been picked up on Raphael, so that makes him a scarier threat. Sendo going forward, throws down the Hextech ultimatum, pinging Hollow in. Hollow is losing so much health, and he's going to get him. Sendo's able to find the killers. Venza taking down the inhibitor. That's the second one falling. Lion is melted through, and XL have found the picks they need. They now need to open up the base.
This is game.
They've got a wave to work with, and actually they're playing a little bit slow here, a little bit tempered. Still got to work through these Baron minions, and Zvene is still alive. It's a 3v5 though, a scary situation.
Sendo just needs to find another pick, and this game ends for them, but no, not able to find that. Even in the 3v5, XL, I think very scared of that.
Taxa got chunked by Raphael. There's a teleport coming through from Sendo. This could be game. Hookshot goes a little bit wide as the Spect is getting collapsed onto. The Weaver's Wall gets thrown down, and XL trying to take themselves an inhibitor. GA has been popped, and now they're going to go all the way. Every one of the structures outside the base has fallen as Sendo is going to follow. Venza trying to take that third and final inhibitor, but for the moment can't quite do so. And XL struggling to close this game.
Aesthetic managed to dodge out of a lot of what Sendo wanted to do, but here we go.
Here he comes, Venza, able to get himself away over the wall. Now Atlantis pushing up, they still got this Baron to work with. Raphael still has a GA available.
Sendo's dead, so they do have a numbers advantage at the moment. It is Zoe falling a little bit further behind the rest of the team, but once these fights do kick off, Atlantis still with the burst, with the push, with the Baron, can at least go for this inhib, could try continue it further if they can find a pick.
Let's see whether or not they're going to commit for the kill. Venza already loses a chunk of health from that crit by Raphael. It looks like Atlantis playing with that tempered aggression as well, but look at these Baron minions. They're starting to do quite a lot of work to the turrets here in the base. And remember, there's only one Nexus turret that remains. Sendo was able to drop one of those earlier in one of his split push attempts.
Yeah, and this super minion push is very strong for XL, but I mean, I called that it could well be game for XL. They could have gone forward, Sendo could have found the pick. Instead, he gets outplayed by Aesthetic because he decided that right now he needed to go super aggressive while the wall cut off the rest of his team. They'd waited up, made sure they had the numbers advantage. It could well have gone the other way, and they could have won right there.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but for the moment, XL, knowing how much is on the line in this game, do not want to throw anything out the window, so they're playing a little bit slower. But could that be punished?
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me is that Atlantis, you know, they may be the last Nordic Open representatives, but there are certainly a lot of Swedish players. There's, you know, of course, NIP, who are the Challenger Series team who've come in from that country. On the other side, Wind and Rain are already out.
Misfits are already out.
It is XL are the last hope for the UK. And
Regional
right
pride
now
was something we hit on quite a lot in the group stages, in the play-ins as well. And XL, like you said, last representatives for the UK. As we've got non-stoppable onslaught and donating the hole. Venza's actually able to dodge it out. Already taking a lot of damage, but he is chunking through Zvene. He is getting absolutely ripped apart. The Weaver's Wall will separate the team. Sendo now starting that split push up again. He's looking for the mid lane. Sendo really putting the work in. Able to hook shot out. The rest of the team not going to be able to chase down for a bit more, but watch Venza as well, stepping forward, always playing as a potential threat. Sendo now just going back in for the back door once again. Inhibitor taking a lot of damage, but Sendo could get picked off. They've got multiple members, but he hook shots out once again. Sendo on the run, doesn't have that flash, and he is just blown apart. The ultimatum comes out, and Sendo is somehow still alive. Zvene is able to get the kill. Inhibitor could get picked up as Joel has gobbled up Venza, making sure Lion's not going to be able to get the kill. As Raphael trying to step forward, trying to get that opening, and it just is Atlantis. You can't open up as they get a headbutt pulverize on Joel. The support with the grey health on. Kremil on the side, and Joel is still somehow alive. Raphael with a crit, able to pick up the kill, and 2 fall for XL. That inhibitor is so low.
Word. Beautifully played from Atlantis. They managed to get themselves in, managed to engage on Sendo as he's trying to escape. And what was really nice there was Vene actually used the Randuins as the hookshot was going off, made sure that he was slowed as he came off of it. Then the Roar of the Slayer, another slow, but now Atlantis with the momentum looking to push up.
This could be game here for Atlantis. It was so close for XL. They haven't got Sendo for another 17 seconds. Joel coming up shortly after. They're doing everything they can to buy time as Pillar gets thrown down by Taxa. Remember, Raphael still has that GA. No one has killed him yet. Weaver's wall by Kremil coming out to buy some time. That means Sendo will get time to respawn, and Joel 10 seconds behind. The wave's getting cleared out. Super's pushing in from everywhere else, and XL able to hold on. We are 45 minutes in, Tiger. This is tight.
This is absolutely tight, and you saw Zvene was actually forced to stay in the base. Their 2 inhibs are still down. They can't leave it to go down to super minions, especially while they only have the 1 Nexus tower, but Atlantis looking for a final pick, potentially.
Could be looking for that fight. Hextech Flash getting channeled up. Lion goes forward, lands himself on Pulverize onto 1. Instantly chasing Corruptions there. Drowsy goes down onto the side. Nobody's falling in the fight. And Venza's full health. He's still firing out, but the unstoppable onslaught comes down. Raphael is already popped in the GA. It's going to be 1 kill for XL as they're trying to get more. Raphael's dead. This is big as Fennig is so low. And Kremil is chasing down. Sendo looking for the kill as the Hextech Aurometer is there. Sendo is a beast at the moment. Kremil gets it. Svene's pop. It's a double kill onto Venza, and XL show up huge.
And XL now can be the last you hope. And this is only the first game of the series. They're looking to end it.
The Winions are doing it. They've managed to drop all of the turrets. Sendo's into the base. The Nexus is laid bare, and he's going to put the damage down. XL take the first of the series.
An absolutely insane play from these guys. So tense, back and forth. And, you know, absolutely commiserations to Atlantis in this game 1, showing up a lot stronger than expected, but even still, XL show why they looked stronger coming into this.
Well, it was messy.